What is it that makes you you? Your eye color, your height, the things you're good at? It's all written down in the oldest, most fundamental code on the planet. And now, for the very first time in history, we haven't just learned to read that code, we've actually learned how to rewrite it. So today, we're going to dive into a technology so powerful, it could completely redefine what it even means to be human.
So let's go back to 2020. While the whole world was focused on other things, a quiet, massive revolution was being officially recognized with a Nobel Prize. And this wasn't just some award for a cool discovery. No, this moment handed humanity a power that, until then, was pure science fiction. The power to literally edit our own biology.
So what is this thing? It's called CRISPR-Cas9. But a better way to think about it is like a word processor for our biology. Your DNA, it's basically a 3 billion letter instruction manual. CRISPR lets us do a find and replace. It can find one specific sentence, maybe even a single typo, cut it out with unbelievable precision, and then paste in a correction. It is, quite literally, a tool to hack the software of life itself. Now, a power this big, it points us toward two very, very different futures. On one hand, is this the key that could finally wipe out our most devastating hereditary diseases for good? Or, on the other hand, is it a Pandora's box? A power so profound, so fundamental, that we might one day regret ever opening it.
All right, so let's dig into how this whole new chapter for humanity officially got started. That 2020 Nobel Prize in Chemistry, it went to two scientists, Emmanuel Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna. Their work on what they called the CRISPR-Cas9 genetic scissors wasn't just another incremental step forward. It was a genuine fundamental breakthrough that pretty much changed everything.
Okay, so how does this genetic hack actually work? Well, it's a surprisingly elegant three-step process. First, a special guide molecule is programmed to hunt down and locate one specific sequence in your entire genome. Think of it like a biological search function. Second, an enzyme called Cas9 comes in and acts like a pair of molecular scissors, making a clean cut in the DNA right at that spot. And finally, the cell's own natural repair system kicks in. And that's when scientists can slip in a new piece of DNA to edit the code, effectively rewriting the original instruction.
And that ability brings us to the incredible promise of all this, the thing that has the entire medical world buzzing. The most profound, most immediate use for this genetic scalpel is the potential to just eliminate hereditary diseases. We're talking about the conditions that are written into our DNA from the moment we're conceived and passed down through family lines.
And the list of what we could potentially target is it's staggering. We're talking about inherited risks for certain cancers, forms of leukemia that have a clear genetic link, types of hepatitis that are rooted in your DNA, and blood disorders like sickle cell anemia. For so many families, this technology offers the first real, tangible hope that these generational curses could finally be broken, that these diseases could be stopped before they even start.
To really get your head around the scale of this, just think about antibiotics. Before we had them, a simple cut getting infected could be a death sentence. Now, antibiotics didn't get rid of bacteria, but they made them manageable, treatable. CRISPR promises to spark a similar revolution, but for our genetic flaws, taking conditions that were once seen as an unchangeable destiny and turning them into nothing more than correctable typos.
But, and this is a huge but, with every great promise, there comes a great peril. And in this case, the peril is so profound that it literally haunted the dreams of one of its own inventors. This is where the story pivots hard, from a hopeful story of healing to a really chilling warning about what could go wrong. Jennifer Doudna, one of the Nobel winners, she talks about having this absolutely terrifying nightmare. In the dream, she's in this dark room, and she's passionately explaining all the amazing things CRISPR can do. A colleague tells her there's someone else who wants to understand it. And as she turns to face this other person, a figure steps out of the shadows, and she finds herself staring right into the face of Adolf Hitler. That dream forced her to confront the absolute darkest, most horrifying potential of her own creation.
So what exactly was the source of that terror?
Well, it's the realization that our DNA doesn't just code for diseases. It holds the blueprints for everything about us. Our height, our hair color, our intelligence, our talents. And this creates a razor-thin line between healing and enhancement. I mean, if you can fix a gene that causes a terrible disease, what's to stop someone from trying to improve a gene for, say, height or appearance? All of a sudden, the very definition of a flaw is completely up for grabs.
Let's just break that down. Therapy. Its goal is pretty clear, right? You cure or prevent a disease by targeting a genetic defect. But enhancement, that's a whole different game. The goal there is to augment or add desirable traits by targeting perfectly normal human characteristics. The very same tool that could be used to wipe out Huntington's disease could, in theory, be used to select for certain skin colors, to engineer bigger muscles for athletes, or maybe even to hardwire a talent for music. And the ethical question just transforms from, is this healing, to the deeply unsettling question, is this a new, high-tech form of eugenics?
And we have to be clear, this is not just some theoretical, philosophical problem for the future. For the first time ever, humanity has the ability to take direct, conscious control of its own evolution. For hundreds of thousands of years, evolution has been this slow, random process driven by blind natural selection. Now, we can potentially achieve in a couple of generations what nature might take millions of years to accomplish, if ever.
I mean, just look at that compression of time. We're talking about collapsing a geological timescale into a human one. It's like the slow, meandering river of natural evolution is about to be hit by a tidal wave of directed, intentional change. The implications of accelerating things that fast, they're almost impossible for us to fully wrap our heads around.
And again, this isn't science fiction. Early experiments are already making this stuff very, very real. For instance, scientists have already created genetically edited mice that can move a full 20% faster than normal mice. It's a clear, measurable demonstration that this technology can go way beyond just fixing problems and start actively enhancing traits.
So, where does this leave us? To figure that out, it kind of helps to look back at how other huge scientific breakthroughs have played out, because they often have consequences that absolutely no one could have predicted.
The great scientist Carl Sagan made a really beautiful point about this. Back in the 1800s, a physicist named James Clerk Maxwell was just working on some pure theoretical equations about electricity and magnetism. It was abstract science. He could have never, ever imagined that his work would one day be the foundation for radio, for television, for the entire global internet, and for that smartphone that's probably in your pocket right now. We are standing where Maxwell stood. We can see the immediate uses for CRISPR, but we simply cannot imagine where it will ultimately take us. Ultimately, the thing that makes the human experience so rich is our differences, right? Our quirks, our weirdness, and yes, even our imperfections. The dystopian fear here is a future where everyone gets standardized into some kind of optimized model, a world of identical, perfect statues. That's a future we have to actively resist. We have to make a choice to preserve the messy, complicated, beautiful variety of what it means to be human, including the very weaknesses that teach us things like compassion and empathy.
So, here we are, standing at the dawn of a new age, and we're holding the pen. We have finally learned the language of life, and we've figured out how to write in it. But the technology is just a tool. It's not good, it's not evil, it just is. The ultimate question here isn't about CRISPR at all. It's about us. It's a question of our values, our wisdom, and our foresight. We've learned to write the code of life. What story will we choose to tell?